You're waiting at a railroad crossing. The tracks look empty, the road is clear, and then suddenly, a horn blasts in the distance. It's loud, sharp, and impossible to ignore. The train isn't even visible yet, but that sound instantly changes the moment. Something powerful is coming, and you're being warned long before you see it. That familiar whistle isn't random, and it isn't just a leftover habit from old steam engines. It's deliberate, regulated, and built on decades of hard lessons about safety. So why do trains whistle at crossings? To answer that, we need to understand how crossings became dangerous, how the whistle became standard practice, and why it remains one of the most important safety tools in transportation today. Right here, on History of Simple Things. Grade crossings are places where railroad tracks and roads intersect at the same level, meaning trains and vehicles share the same physical space. Unlike bridges or tunnels, there is no separation between rail traffic and cars, which creates risk. Trains are extremely heavy, and even with modern braking systems, a long freight train moving at highway speeds can require a mile or more to stop. When automobiles became common in the early 20th century, collisions at crossings increased because drivers often misjudged a train's speed or distance. Some assumed they could cross safely before it arrived, while others simply failed to notice it. Since trains cannot swerve and have limited ability to slow quickly, crossings became one of the most dangerous points on the rail network, making advance warnings essential. Before flashing lights and automatic gates were invented, trains relied primarily on sound to warn people of their approach. In the 19th century, steam locomotives were equipped with powerful steam whistles that could be heard over long distances. Railroad operating rules required engineers to sound the whistle when approaching crossings, curves, and populated areas. These audible warnings were especially important in times when visibility was limited and road vehicles had weak brakes. Sound travels farther than visual signals and can cut through fog, rain, and surrounding noise. As locomotives transitioned from steam to diesel and electric power, the steam whistle was replaced with compressed air horns, but the purpose remained the same: to alert anyone near the tracks before the train entered a shared crossing. In the United States, the use of train horns at public crossings is regulated by the Federal Railroad Administration to ensure consistency and safety. Engineers must sound the horn in a specific sequence of 2 long blasts, 1 short blast, and 1 long blast. This pattern must begin at least 15 seconds and no more than 20 seconds before the locomotive enters the crossing, and the final long blast continues until the train occupies it. The volume is also regulated, requiring horns to measure between 96 and 110 decibels at 100 feet in front of the locomotive. These standards ensure that the warning is loud enough to be heard inside vehicles and recognizable across the country, reducing confusion and reinforcing a clear, uniform signal of danger. Modern crossings often include flashing red lights, warning bells, and lowering gates, but the horn remains an essential backup. Mechanical systems can fail due to technical issues or power outages, and not all crossings are equipped with active warning devices, especially in rural areas. Even where gates exist, some drivers ignore them or attempt to drive around barriers. The horn functions independently of roadside equipment and does not rely on visibility. It reaches pedestrians wearing headphones, cyclists approaching from blind spots, and drivers who may be distracted. Because it projects outward in all directions, it adds a layer of protection that visual signals alone cannot provide, helping to prevent accidents when other safeguards are insufficient. train horns are intentionally loud, which can create noise concerns for communities located near busy rail lines. To address this, the Federal Railroad Administration allows cities and towns to establish quiet zones where routine horn sounding at crossings is suspended. However, these zones require the installation of additional safety measures, such as four-quadrant gates, raised medians to prevent drivers from bypassing barriers, or upgraded signal systems. Quiet zones are approved only when data shows that the alternative protections provide a comparable level of safety. Even within these zones, engineers may still sound the horn in emergencies if they detect a hazard on or near the tracks. This approach reflects a balance between reducing noise and maintaining public safety. Many crossing accidents are linked to human decision-making rather than equipment failure. Investigations frequently show that drivers saw warning lights or heard signals but chose to proceed anyway, often underestimating the train's speed or assuming they had enough time to cross. Familiarity with a crossing can also lead to complacency, reducing attention to warning signs. An audible horn interrupts that complacency by demanding immediate focus. Because trains cannot change direction and require significant distance to stop, avoiding a collision often depends on road users responding quickly. The horn serves as a final, unmistakable alert that reinforces the seriousness of the situation and provides one more opportunity for someone to make a safe decision. Trains whistle at crossings because those intersections represent one of the most hazardous points in transportation. The practice began with steam locomotives and continues today under strict federal regulation. The standardized horn pattern, controlled timing, and regulated volume are all designed to provide a clear and consistent warning before a train enters a shared space. Even with modern gates and flashing lights, the horn remains a critical safety layer, especially in situations involving distraction, equipment malfunction, or poor visibility. The sharp blast before a crossing is not a random tradition. It is a carefully maintained safeguard shaped by decades of experience at the intersection of rail and road. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.